Hello, brothers and sisters. I am Bob, and this is Genesis Cipher. Well, if you looked at my study on We Are Legion, I pointed to sixes as a unified order. And I pray that nobody will misinform that little study. For Lucifer in himself is the prince of the devils, or the prince of the evil spirits. In the book of Enoch, you will see that they're referred to as the Satans. But one of the things that I will have to say is that when it comes to the darkness, the dark one, and evil spirits in that, they are a unified order. When you look at the number in Revelation chapter 13, you will see that is the number of the man, and his number is 666, 3 sixes. You will see that sixes is reference. A lot of people will always look at sixes and nines, which is basically 6 upside down, as some sort of a sign of evil or whatever. But they're just numbers to me. The mark of the beast and the mark that's on the forehead and the hand could be an interpretation of what you have, what you think in your head constantly, or what you have in your hand, But you know what? These things are, in a sense, you have to put your hope and faith in Jesus Christ to guide you and to protect you into all understanding and knowledge. But, as I say again, one of the things that I will mention, that you have these people that always say, well, one of the greatest things that Lucifer ever did was convince the world that he didn't exist. Well, that's fine, but here's another side of that coin, that one of the things that Lucifer convinced the world that he was only one. When, if you look at the unified order, you will see that they are many. You have We Are Legion, and of course there's the Pharisees says that he cast out devils in the prince of devils, Beelzebub. They are many. But anyway, I would like to talk about sevens, and 7 is a sign of create. You will have 7 days a week. You have 1 week. You will see that the Lord himself on the 7th day rested from all his work. Thus, the 7th day considered the Sabbath. Now, let's talk about this for a minute. One of the things that I would like to show you is 7 is the in a sense, a sign of create. And take a 7 and flip it upside down. It looks like a chair, doesn't it? Thus the Lord sat on his throne. He created. But look at Genesis 1, and if you will, look at Genesis 2. I'm sorry. In Genesis 2, you will see that it starts out, thus the Lord, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day God ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work which he created and made. And so, as you can see, if you look closely, brothers and sisters, there is no evening and no morning, is there? That's because where God rested, he is outside of time. Okay? So, turn back to Hebrews chapter 4. Okay? And I will start in verse 1. I'll go ahead and read on through. Okay, Hebrews chapter 4, verse 1. Let us therefore, lest a promise be left us of entering into his rest. any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into rest. As he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. Referring to the Psalm of David 95:11, by the way, this verse. Then we'll go on to verse 4. For he spoke into a certain place of the seventh day in this wise, and God did rest the seventh day from all his work. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest. Seeing therefore it remained that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. So I will stop there at verse 6. So what place is he talking about, brothers and sisters? I would have to say, this place, of course, is heaven, and it is outside of time. We live inside time. We have an evening and a morning. What do some scholars or preachers say? That is God's timepiece, the rising and the setting of the suns and the moon. For you have in Genesis, and I will look in Genesis, when the Lord made the stars, for they were basically to be used for times and seasons. And if you're patient with me here for a minute, I have to dig up on my eSword here and get in Genesis 1, because the Genesis 1 in my Bible, I got an old King James Version Bible, and the first page, Genesis 1, is tore out of the Bible. Anyway, so here we go. We'll go to chapter 4, Genesis 1:14. And God said, let the lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So we have in Genesis 1:14, you see that these lights were made for days and years and times, signs, and seasons. So that is God's timepiece. And of course, if you look at the Sabbath, when you have in the Sabbath, the Friday at the setting of the sun is the start of the Sabbath, and the end of the Sabbath will not be till the sun comes down, the Saturday of the next day. That's a full Sabbath day, in the evening and the morning you have. Well, anyway, if you look on the seventh day in chapter 2 of Genesis, you will see that there is no evening and morning there, because when God rested from his work, he rested outside of time. So there was no evening and morning on that day. And thus we have where Paul, I'm pretty sure it's Paul who wrote Hebrews here. Let me check real quick and make sure. The epistle to the Hebrews. I guess it's Paul had written Hebrews. I'm pretty sure he did. But here you have, let us enter into that rest. So let us enter into that rest, meaning let us enter in with the Lord on that rest. See, if you will look in some of the other books, brothers and sisters, you will see that the end times, like the sign of the time of Jacob's trouble, and the books and the chapters that the other prophets talk about, where it'll be like an end times situation, you will see that there will still remain that Sabbath even in the afterlife, that there will be Sabbath keeping. But we will be outside of time. We will be with the Lord, so we will be worshiping the Lord. So in a sense, that is the Sabbath. Okay, that's why the Lord said in His 10 Commandments, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy, because we will enter into that Sabbath with the Lord. And I know a lot of these people are headstrong on keeping the Sabbath here on the earth, but that's fine, brothers and sisters. We're not judging those brothers and sisters. They are judging us. And of course, they are the ones that are looking, at us and saying that we're not doing right by the Lord. No, we're free from that. And a lot of the Sabbath keepers will say, well, in the afterlife we'll be keeping the Sabbath, so if it's not that important, no. Let us enter, like Paul said, let us enter into that rest with the Lord. We will be with the Lord. Thus, all that will be outside of time, so there won't be no days and years. We will enter into that rest. We will enter into that Sabbath with the Lord. I am Bob, and this is Genesis Cipher. Praise Jesus.